Good evening to everybody. Thank you for being here in this beautiful San Felipe weather of autumn. Be ready to enjoy the Shrimp Festival. Okay, before we get started this morning, I would like to say that as I go through the agenda, I will ask for a motion and a second on the agenda items requiring a vote. I will then allow questions only as it relates to the current agenda item under consideration, using the microphone in the center, no, in the right side of the podium, right here, next to the tables. The person using the microphone must first state their first and last name and their club numbers. Then I will call for a vote. The vote will be taken by show of hands or ballot or by voice. When the meeting is adjourned, I will open the floor for questions. All questions must be made using the microphone in the right side of the zone. In order to be fair and provide an opportunity for the most people present to access the microphone, the speaker will be limited to either one statement or one question, with an option for one follow-up question. If the same speaker wishes another turn at the microphone, they must go to the end of the line. Okay, I am proceeding to the establishment of the Assembly. In accordance with Article 49 of the Rules and Regulations, the required notice was made to all owners of the Asociación de Condominios La Ventana del Mar. In accordance with Article 49, Fraction F, I will preside the Assembly in representation of the Administrator and proceed to designate Mrs. Sarina Valverde as Secretary of the Assembly. Okay, and the first call for quorum at 2:30, we don't have acquired a quorum yet. We have the presence of 25 owners and 5 proxies, developer 26. So we'll call for the second call in 15 minutes so we can talk about the weather in the meantime. Okay, and second call, we still don't have a quorum. We have owners 27, proxies 6, and developers here 26. As a matter of fact, we're spending this. I will suggest to all of you to skip the third call so we can save another 15 minutes. So do we have a motion to do that?
Yes.
Second?
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Those not in favor? Okay, so it is approved. Thank you. Okay, so now I am going to ask to the audience the assignment of clerks. I would like to have 2 volunteers for doing the counting of the votes. Some of them will be done by, like I said in the beginning, by ballot. Some of them can be by votes or by raise of hands. At the end, it is a need to sign the paperwork as the girls has, which is not a lot. So, do I have 2 volunteers, please, for this? Just 2, please. Do we have 1 over there? Thank you very much, Sharon. And very well. Thank you very much. Por favor, los nombres. Okay, I will write down the names, so I will confirm to all the audience the identity of our church today. The next item in the agenda is to approve the November 2017 Ordinary Assembly meeting minutes as registered in Mexicali and posted in the HOA website. Everybody of you received them through the Concord mailing that we did. So, do I have a motion to approve them? Second? All in favor? Those not in favor? Okay, so the motion passed. Okay, the next one is to introduce the current supervisory committee members, which is Mrs. Marta Rezac, right here in the front, and Mr. Gary Lambert. And I want to recognize both of them because they have been working very hard with the committee, always looking for the benefit of the Las Villas community and working in common work with the HOA. So really thank you for your commitment. The next one is the supervisory committee report, which is going to be given by Mr. Gary Lambert, sorry. Change it.
Before I start, I want to take the opportunity, sometimes I forget to acknowledge Roberto and his staff, the ladies that work administrative in the office, and Lalo and Ricardo Perez. Lalo does our budget. He does magic with the numbers and keeps us out of the red each year. And Ricardo Perez is in charge of maintenance and security, and they do a great job. Arturo Ramirez, who takes care of a lot of our IT stuff and our web page and does the slides for me and fixed mine just a minute ago because I didn't want to touch them. I was afraid I'd delete something. But anyway, they really do a good job, and it's not, it's seen more by the supervisory committee, obviously, because we deal with them on a monthly or even more frequently basis, not so much so by the general population, that is the owners, but they do an outstanding job for us, so I really do appreciate it and all of you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. These are the highlights of our 2018-2019. Next. In 2019, we'll have no increase in our HOA dues. This will be the 5th year in a row that we haven't had an increase. Now, I know that you feel terrible about that, but if you want one, we'll be happy to entertain that motion. So we're really happy about that. Next. Again, no increase in the next 5 years. Also, thank you, and thank all of you and the staff, and Mr. Magic over there with his numbers. Also, this is the 4th year in a row that we haven't been incurring any debt. As you know, AKA CAM, which is a 15% administrative fee that we pay monthly or yearly, pay it monthly, but yearly on the amount of dues that we collect. We owe them 15%. And that goes for the salaries of a lot of the staff and taking care of the ranch and those type of things. We had a debt of about close to $450,000, and we started paying our full 15% each year starting 4 years ago, and we haven't incurred any additional debt. So we are reducing that, and I'll tell you about that in a little bit. Oh, there we go. Let me move to this side where I can read it easier. This year, well, 2019, we have 147 dues-paying owners, down from 173 last year. Now, when they do the budget, I think it's September or something like that, they get these figures from Concord. So that's what Concord gives us, that they project these are the amount of dues-paying owners you're going to have next year. And of course, that can change. Hopefully, it'll go up. But that decrease of 26 people, that's a lost revenue just budget-wise of a little bit over $92,000. So it's a real hit to us when we lose dues-paying members. And it also, of course, is to La Ventana, where the houses are with Denise Ponds. They lose members, they lose revenue. They don't lose members, they have the owners, but they lose the revenue. Fortunately, we've been able, through a variety of programs, not only costs associated with general operation and maintenance, but our collections have increased dramatically. Our collections for this year, 2018, are projected to increase about $24,000. Last year, or this year, 2018, we budgeted collections for $88,000, and at the rate we're going, we're projected to collect about $112,000. Next year, our collections for 2019 are projected to increase another 24%. And I think Roberto will cover the details of the budget. I think we budget for budgetary purposes on our collections. I believe we budgeted close to 2019 for collections for what we did for 2018, but we already anticipate a collection of 24%. If you recall, either last year or year before, several years ago, there was a resolution that was adopted by the Mountainside and both budget areas, La Ventana and Los Feliz on the seaside, where they could go back starting in 3 years and start aggressive collections for delinquent owners. And we changed that, I think it was last year, I made a proposal to Roberto that we need to change that time period on the seaside because our dues are so much, that is about $296 a month or $3,500 a year compared to the Mountainside dues. So if you're delinquent for more than a year, we're going to start collecting aggressively instead of 3 years. And that has resulted in that 24, that among other things has probably resulted in that additional $24,000 being collected on delinquency. Our resort fee for 2019 is up 44%, which means we're getting 65% more than we did last year and the previous years. Last year, I think we were budgeted for $45,000. This year, we're going to get $65,000. La Ventana is getting $5,000, so we're getting $70,000. That's about 70%. We project to collect about $100,000 2019 in the resort fee, and we'll get $70,000 of that. We'd like to have more, and maybe in years to come we will, but there was a discussion this morning. With this resort fee, aside from what's figured into that, as a nonprofit, our earned income, or our income from dues and collections, we can't exceed that by more than 5%, or we'll lose our nonprofit status. So we have a combined income when you subtract out some things of 1.4, 1.5 million. That is the total seaside community. So we can only collect, roughly 80,000. So if we collect 100, we can only keep 75 or 80 of it, or we'll lose our nonprofit status. And obviously we don't want to do that. So the remainder of that goes to the Mountainside. And even though the villas, we generate 87% of the total revenue, but we can't legally keep that without jeopardizing our nonprofit status. Now the Mountainside, they do some things, in all fairness, that the average person probably doesn't know or pay any attention to. As an example, and I should preference this, they have to pay for some things, and who should be paying for it, that's another story that I won't go into. But currently, when you see these road graders and the backhoes and the front loaders and all that running around, and probably you've seen that more frequently lately as a result of the storms that we have, that's equipment that belongs to the Mountainside. They not only have the equipment in their inventory, they have to pay for the parts, the mechanical fixing it up, the repair. They have to pay for the diesel fuel, and they also have to pay for the hourly rate. We don't pay for that. Now again, who should pay for it is a different subject, but currently that's how it is. So who's responsible really doesn't make any difference, because it has to be paid one way or the other, or you don't get your roads graded, or a lot of other things over here. So that $30,000 they get, even though we couldn't take much more of that legally, there are some benefits we get back from them, and we have over the years for their equipment use. And there's some other things also that enter into that, but that's probably the biggest thing. Our total income is up 1% for 2019. Our expenses increased 1% for 2019. Our general maintenance is down 4%, and our small pool security is up 5%. We had to add another security person or two to our small pool. So all we do with expenses, every penny counts to us, as it does for for La Ventana, because we do not have that, currently, we do not have that owner base that the Mountainside has, which is, close to 4,000 people. Even though their dues are less, they got a tremendous base of dues-paying owners. Now, when I say the small pools, those are the two villa pools. The Lapa Lapa pool, that's a shared expense. That is actually owned by the developer. It's not owned by the Seaside HOA. So the cost that went up, the 5% for this small pool security is for our two small pools at the villas. Okay. On our capital expenses, we have budgeted $7,500 this year to start the security and fire system initially along the beach area. The Mountainside has now their whole property encompassed, which took many, many years to do that because it's a huge piece of property geographically. But that's if you enter, the alarm goes off, the cameras and all that stuff, and they know that somebody encroached the property and they have it on video camera. We hope to start that because security is, one of the most important things we do here. That's why we get the Baja 250 racers and all that staying here, because they feel safe at the ranch versus downtown. But we hope to start the implementation of that system if we have enough money from our revenue that we take in versus our expenses. And of course, we hope to start that along the beach area, the first phase of that. Okay. On the golf assessment, there's no change in the amount per owner. That runs through 2019. The general assessment is 2 years. But the one good thing is, if you recall, for both La Ventana and the villas, that for 2017, 18, 19, our assessment is credited against our CAM credits. So that gives us, the villas, about $70,000 a year on CAM credit. Again, that's contingent on how many pay their golf assessment. And as a result of that, approximately at the end of 2019, approximately 40% of CAM will be retired in 2019. For La Ventana, almost 100% of their CAM will be retired at the end of 2019 as a direct result of the credit we negotiated with the developer for our assessment for the golf course to go against our indebtedness. Also, 8%, which I didn't put on the slide, for the operation and maintenance of the sewage treatment plant. Actually, the developer started last year, and that will continue. He contributes 8% of that cost towards the sewage treatment plant as it relates to the commercial activities on the golf course, as in good examples here at the pavilion. Okay, wait a minute. Back that up. Okay, are there any questions? Again, Roberto will go over the details of the budget and some other stuff he does, so I don't want to step on his presentation. Is there anything else I've said that you, so far, that you have any questions on?
$7,500 security. So that means security facilities will add on. That means every villa has the security camera?
No. It's a system that goes around the perimeter of the development. And when you come into the property, it sets off an alarm, and then there's cameras that record you. They have that on the Mountainside. We don't have it over here, so we're hoping to start it this year.
So only the properties?
Let me make a clarification on that.
Oh, okay.
The 7,500 is not for the whole perimeter. Right now we are starting by the beachfront, because the total cost is not 7,500. Let me give you an idea. In the EDR side, it was $250,000 to surround the whole ranch, just with the infrared system, plus the cameras, plus everything. The cameras are not either around all EDR. They are in certain special places that we need them and we know we can get the people. On time, we will go to the cameras over at La Ventana del Mar. Right now, we are just doing it in the front of the beach with the infrared. Another thing, it will not be working 24 hours because during the day, we have residents and we have renters and we have people who will come in and out of the beach the whole day. So we will have jingle bells all the day. So what we are going to do is we will start it in late afternoon and put it off early in the morning. Hours will be known only by us.
Yeah, we concerned this because we lost the TV and the DVD players.
Yes.
Someone broke into our villas and
Yes.
stole that.
And I can talk about that in the questions and answers at the end of the meeting. And I have very good comments for you, so you can prevent that too.
Okay, and also I think for the resident, we concerned that
The what?
we concerned that after 2019, we are not going to pay. Whether we are not going to pay that golf course fee, like $450, right?
Right now it's still in force. It was voted last year and it is good for 2 years. So it has to be paid in 2018, 2019.
But after that, we don't know.
We don't know yet. Supposedly, the developer, we are out of this in this moment, but just to answer you fastly, it's the developer has said that when the investment come in, the golf will be off. So go on, Mary, please.
Okay, and also I want to, I'm sorry.
One quick question here. I'm assuming that there's 26 people that are no longer part of our the villa's condo owners. That they weren't dues paying to begin with. That's why they dropped off.
No, they were.
They were dues payers.
Yes.
So some of that because they just dropped off and said, I'm not going to do the condo anymore and just let it go?
No, there are different reasons. Same thing in EDR. Some people die. Some people, one of the spouses died and they decide not to come back. So there are different reasons. Someone wants to say, okay, I just don't want to pay dues until later to see if the investment comes in. Everybody has their own opinion and everybody has their own reasons. And some people just say, I quit. That's true. I won't say this doesn't happen. It's a personal decision.
Okay, I have a similar question this gentleman asked. Were these people who actually sold their property and new buyers replaced them, or are they just people that left for whatever reason?
If they sold the property, yes, a new owner comes in, they have to work with all the paperwork, they have to do a new fideicomiso, etc., etc., etc. And when they get settled, they start paying the dues. As a matter of fact, when they come in, there is a note in their files that they have not been paying dues, so before they sell, they have to pay the dues. Because when you buy your property, it says that you have to pay your dues even before selling the property. It has to be paid. Yes.
Hi, I don't know if this is the right time to bring this up, but it does involve the vote today about a 70-30 split between the resort fee and between the beach side and the mountain side. I understand that was passed.
Yes, it was passed.
Okay.
It was passed yesterday.
And so...
The vote is not today, it was done yesterday.
Okay. And so I understand in talking to property management, there's a concern about renters not being able to use the pool. I understand the reasoning for that. I'm wondering if the Palapa pool is going to be rejuvenated. And then you mentioned there were some fees, obviously, that the HOA on this side couldn't keep because we'd lose our status, I guess, as a nonprofit. Can we instead just have some of those fees go to pay for some of our costs instead of bringing them in, instead of bringing the money in ourselves?
The short answer is no, but we're working on some other alternate suggestions, particularly Hans put forward supervisors committee where we can get around that amount of money. But for this year, yeah, we're restricted to 5% of our total income as additional income without losing our status. So it's not something we can deal with, not something we can change for 2019 as far as the way the resort fee is currently distributed between the two entities. And I'm not sure what you asked and what Roberto answered. Yesterday, the Mountainside voted a resolution to restrict renters' ATVs. No, I'm sorry. The Mountainside passed a resolution that renters, short-term renters, cannot use the Canchonia pool on the Mountainside. That's their pool, and it's their right to do it, whether anybody agrees with it or not. That's all paid for by those owners. We didn't contribute to that. The other thing that we did, which I'm sure reporters are going to talk about, is that we have restricted ATVs on the seaside to only those that the owners own. They have to, renters that come in with ATVs have to park across the street.
But that I understood. I'm just saying that in order to keep the renters coming, the Palapa pool has to be rejuvenated.
Well, that's true, and it's been, I've been here 6-7 years, and it's never been heated, so really nothing's changed with that, except that the renters, short-term renters, can't use the Mountainside pool. And again, most of the renters are here during the warm months anyway. I've been in discussions with the developer about what he can and can't do and what he's willing to do. Nothing's been settled. He's not here right now, but anyway, to look at the Palapa pool. We need about $20,000 in capital equipment, heaters and different things to start up the La Palapa pool, and then it's about $10,000 a year in propane costs. So we're looking right out of the chute at $30,000.
The projection is that you would lose the resort fee because people wouldn't be coming here if they didn't have a pool to use. The two smaller pools obviously aren't going to accommodate anyone, so there has to be some place for them. They can't use the Canchonia pool. I understand that restriction. If I lived over there, I would agree with that. But there has to be a place.
No, I understand, and I agree with you, but we only have so much money, so there's a variety of things we could do. One would be, which I don't think would be legal, but a spatial assessment to fix up the La Palapa pool. We're not going to do that. The other is that we raise our dues to pay for the La Palapa pool. I don't think anyone wants to do that. The other is we do away with some services, say the landscaping contract to do the pool, or we leave it as it is, as it has been for years.
How about the assessment you give the resort fee?
There's an extra 20% coming in from the resort
why
fee.
aren't you using the resort fee
To Pat Butler, why don't we have him pay
pay him
that?
so he can get that done?
We don't have enough money from that at the time
Well, you give him 30% or whatever it is to the other side.
Well, we're not giving it to them. It's the fact that we can't keep it.
Okay, then why don't you give it to Pat Butler to do the pool?
Give it to Pat.
I'm not sure we.
Let me answer that, Gary. One of the things that Pat Butler has said is that when he gets the income of the money in 30 days, which is supposed to happen, he will be paying attention to that. Even if we like it or not, that's what he says.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying the resort fees that they get that's going to the other side, excuse me.
No, it's not the whole resort fee from La Ventana. As a matter of fact, they rent units in EDR2. So they are entitled to a resort fee too.
Sure.
What is just is the difference that cannot be kept in La Ventana. Which is not, let me tell you, this is not $100,000. The difference is small. But if we give it here, we lose the status and protect us from paying taxes.
Well,
over the whole thing. It's not just over the exceeding number.
Well, I understand that. I mean, I do understand what you're saying. But if we don't give, okay, let's say it went to, and I don't know the legality of it. All I'm saying is, I understand they get resort fees over there. And I'm sure you guys hopefully keep track of that so you know how much and all that. Okay, so let's say we have a surplus, okay? That's all I'm saying. On the condo side or La Ventana side, okay? And we have a surplus. Legally, could you give it to Pat Butler so he could, let's say in 30 days this thing does not go through. You know, it's not finished yet.
Well,
Hold on, let me finish. Okay, so why can't you give whatever is over and above that we can't use to Pat Butler to get that pool back in shape so the people who rent short term, that they know they have something they can go to. That's all I'm saying.
I understand it. It's by law we cannot do it because that money is for the use of the HOA. It's, for example, the way it is managed, all the resort fee who comes in, we make that distribution because in that way the HOA in the La Ventana and Marside doesn't receive the cut that the government puts in. If we can give it more, we should give it more. For example, if these 23 people who are not paying here, plus the people who is not paying in La Ventana pays, that gap goes up. So instead of giving 70,000, maybe we are giving 80,000 or 90,000. It's not something that we just say, this is going to be to La Ventana. That's it. No, it's,
we have
to prevent
I
that.
understand what you're saying. No,
yes,
I
but
really
we
do.
cannot by law. We are not. We are prevented to give it to the developer because that's HOA money.
Okay.
It only goes by a special assessment.
All right.
That's a different thing.
We have 7,500
Yeah.
in capital budget for the infrared system.
I would like that could be done, but couldn't be done.
Yeah, we could take that money and put it towards the pool, but it's the choice we have to make. Is that more important or is security more important? We have a surplus.
Well, and I understand that, but the thing is about it, throwing out assessments, I know about me, you're not going to get it.
No,
I understand that, but it's very easy to do an assessment and just do it. I will not pay any more assessments.
But we're not doing an assessment. I'm not.
No, I'm just saying, you just saying, but you did bring it up, where we could do an assessment, okay? But I'm saying that, we've had the golf course that was only supposed to be for a year, and it's on and on and on and on. So, another assessment, like I hear that we wanted for the sewage, which is a developer problem, not ours. Okay, that should have been done before the even thing was built. I'm just saying, assessments doesn't go with me anymore.
Well, I don't
We
disagree.
pay so much money here.
Okay,
I
think
tell you
you
what,
made-
for condos
I think
in the
you
United
made-
States, we're paying more than condos in the United States.
I think you make a point. We're not going to do an assessment, and assessments kind of take a life on of their own. I was giving you a variety of options that we could and have looked at in order to heat the Lapa Lapa pool. We're going to have a cash reserve this year and next year, and the decision is, I don't know, how many roof leaks do we have now? 30-some? Do we fix the roof leaks, or do we heat the pool? Now, if you have a roof leak, I know how you'd feel about that. So we have to make those decisions with the limited income we have, and that's just the nature of it. I paid full dues.
Oh, I do too.
And part of mine, I live over in Baghdad, and part of mine dues and 28 other people over there go in the pot that pays the landscaper. Now, I don't have any landscaping, so why do I do that? Why do we do, it's just it's a situation that your alternative or your solutions are very limited, and some of what you have are probably not very good for the owners in general. Yes.
One question. So the people who come here to rent the place pay $30 resort fee to enjoy a pool which is in poor shape. But we cannot use these $30 to fix the pool. Do I understand this correct?
Yes, we can. But if we do that, we have to, the resolution hadn't passed when we did the budget. The resolution only passed yesterday on the EDR, the mountainside, to restrict the usage of renters to their pools.
No, don't talk about restrictions. Why can't the $30 not be used for the Palapa pool? After all the money we give wherever it needs to go, there's still a surplus. And this money should be used to fix the pool. Why not?
Well, because we use it for other things, the guards on the small pools, we use it on the sewage, there's only so much go around.
Yeah, but this resort fee is specifically paid by people to enjoy the pool, to use the pool.
Well, what we're
And
using,
they get nothing for in return.
and what we're using the resort fee on right now are those things that cost us more as a result of renters. And we don't have enough to do it all. If you can come up with 30,000, let me know. I'll be happy to let you do the budget.
That's not a good, you know what, for a supervisor, you shouldn't say.
Well, there's
No,
only
I'm
so
not-
much to go around. You
No, I
can't,
understand that.
you
but
can't
know
beat
what?
a horse
You
to
can't throw it
death.
on people who are paying every year.
Well, I'm paying every year too.
Well, I understand that. But you don't tell them that, you know what, do a better job. They don't even say that. That is
Well,
not
whatever.
That attitude is not.
Can I,
Can we continue this in questions and answers
Can I-
after the meeting?
Yeah, that'd be a
can
good
I
idea.
just have two questions on it. You said Pat Butler owns the pool, not the HOA, correct?
Correct.
Similar to the golf course?
Pardon?
Similar to the golf course?
Correct, yes.
Okay, is there any way that, like for example, I do rent my condo out periodically. Is there any way that I could have, let's say, $15 of that be contributed by me as a donation to our HOA on each time somebody rents it, rather than it coming in as a fee? Can I do it as a donation? For that would be the owners of the condos. So in other words, the property management company would allocate $15 of that 30 and send it to you as my donation to the HOA.
One of the things, let me answer that. One of the things is the question will be, is everybody willing to do that?
Well, they don't
Then
have.
we will have to track it. That costs more money because we will have to be following person by person. And what happened with the people who is not willing to give the $15? Right now, that money is paid by each renter, and the money comes in because they do not go in if they don't pay.
But I don't see that money right now. They could give, the property management company could give it to you under my account name as my name.
That's what they are doing right now.
But it wouldn't
When
be-
they charge the $30
donation.
fee, it comes into the HOA. But the thing is this, the problem, let me explain, Sharon. No, I am explaining it and I am saying it clearly. The money comes in. The problem is that each year there is less people paying, but the cost is not decreasing. We have increases in electricity, we have increases in water, we have increases in gasoline, we have increases in everything. The inflation rate, the exchange of peso dollar. So we are having increases and increases and increases, but we have dues lower and lower and lower. So right now we are paying part of the maintenance of the sewer treatment plant, and it's not all paid by Las Villas. Las Villas put part of the money, the developer puts part of the money, and La Ventana puts part of the money to pay the expenses on the sewage treatment plant. So we have to distribute the money. What we are trying to do is to maintain the service for all of you who live here and bring the people who is just going from time to time to see what we are doing, and they will be able to come and realize their dream. Because we have to maintain the level of living that you have right now. When I know it's not the guilty part is not the HOA, because the crisis strike. It's the same thing with Rosa. It destroys our roads. What are we going to do? We cannot prevent things like that. The economic crisis of 2018, I can tell you that Mr. Butler was not asking for that. It's something that happened. I have been tracking, since I came into the HOA, I have been tracking the hurricane since day one. And I have been doing that for 20 years because I was working in Hotellerie before. And if you know where Las Misiones Hotel is, it's right on the beach, without any more beach, because the erosion by the harbor has taken away the beach. So I have had to track it because we can be hit by a hurricane over there too. So we are following them. When I saw Rosa, and there is Ricardo, who is the operations manager, I told him, be aware, this one is going to hit us. True or false? Why? Because I have been studying that for years and years and years. So it came up and it gave us a wash up like we haven't had in years. Now we are working on that. But what we meant is that we don't have all the money we would like to have. When the investment money comes in, I know that everybody laughs about it and doesn't believe it, but we better believe it because it is the best thing that can happen to us, that the money comes in. Or we will have to be struggling year after year with less people paying until what happened. If the money comes in tomorrow or in 30 days or in 60 days or in 90 days, the branch will regrow. And that's a fact because the business will be back on wheels. If we prefer not that this is not going to happen, then we won't have nothing to worry in 5 years.
Yeah, last year at this time we didn't have this problem because we had about 173 dues paying owners. So had we had the same amount of owners, even class 92,000, this Lapa pool would not have been an issue once they voted yesterday to restrict renters to from the mountainside pool. So we'd have had plenty of money to heat the pool.
All I'm saying is you're going to lose the revenue from the resort fee if you don't provide pool for the people to use.
So here is the thought, food for thought, okay, for you supervisors. We know what, I know what to fix this pool, because when I was supervisor, we got amount approximately how much it cost to fix this pool, about $100,000, okay? So why you supervisors don't negotiate with Pat Butler of his camp, $100,000 now, and fix this pool?
Well, he will do that. That's not a problem. We don't have the money we've got to put the money up front. We don't have the money. He's not going to come out of pocket. He's going to give it.
Pat Butler get camp paid from HOA. So part of $100,000 of the camp, Pat Butler give to you, you hire people and fix this pool. Period. End of the conversation.
In other words, our CAM fees reduced this year.
Use CAM money to fix the pool.
Well, that's CAM debt, not money. There's no money there.
Pay every month.
Are you telling me what HOA don't pay money, don't pay 15% of our income for CAM?
No, he's not saying that. This is a misunderstanding right now between. He's not saying that, Michael. That's not fair to put words that he has not said. I'm sorry to say this, but no, sorry. I understand what you are saying, and I understand what Gary was saying. And this is not right. Let me tell you this, yes, all of the HOAs pay 15% to CAM. But you know, and everybody should know this, and I think so everybody knows, I am not defending Pat Butler. I am defending the point which is true. Okay? The thing is, with that 15% from each HOA, Pat Butler just doesn't put the money in his pocket. He has a lot of employees all around the ranch that he pays. And he puts money to maintain the golf course too. It's not maintained just with the HOA golf assessment. And he puts money for the sewer treatment plant. And he puts money in many other things. So this is not like he receives the money free and that's it. I can enjoy life with this money and that's it. No, he has a business that he has to maintain and he is struggling and suffering as we are. And I say as we because I have a lot to in EDR. And I pay my dues and I pay my maintenance, everything. So I am leaving it too. But it will be a thing to talk with Pat. That's it. But that doesn't mean that he will be able to do it.
But this is what they say. Food for thought.
Yes, I agree with that. But then we start assuming things, and that's not right.
Well,
the thing is well, go ahead.
If we come up with the money, and there's some ways we're still looking at, it's about 20,000 in equipment, to heaters and some stuff to get the pool up and running, and 10,000 a year in estimated propane costs. So that's 30,000 out to shoot. Now we do have some reserves we're going to have some reserves from 2018, and we're going to have quite a bit from 2019. But our decision is: do we use that to heat the pool, or do we do all these roof leak repairs and those type of things? And can we generate some more money? Unfortunately, had we known, I'm not sure it would have helped any, had we known last year at this time that we were going to lose 26 dues paying owners, we may have looked at it a little bit different, but we had no anticipation that would happen. The only good thing is we have stepped up our collection, and we haven't raised our dues in 5 years. And that's probably, to do the pool raising the dues is probably, when you look at all the budget, you can do away with landscaping, and we can do the pool. Cancel landscape contract, about $68,000 a year. When we can do away with that, just a minute, Michael. We can do away with the roof repairs, accelerated program we're looking at. We can heat the pool. But other than that, there's no money there.
Clearly, I'm sorry, but you start using scare tactics, okay? Don't tell me.
Isn't this a part of the question answer for later? This is not related to this budget.
No, I would think so. Let's hold it up till after we finish, and if you all have questions. The only other thing is that I'd be remiss if I didn't give Martha Rezak the credit she deserves. We're both supervisors, and the work she does, although she doesn't get up and make these presentations, she kind of tells me what to say. So, and I don't always pay attention, but she's a great asset. And with that said, next one. She's running for re-election this year. Her term's up, and I hope you all will join with me in supporting her for another term as supervisor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Okay, the next point in the agenda is exactly the nomination and election of one supervisory committee member in accordance with Article 66 for a 2-year term. As we established 2 years ago, we were designing a new process that we can receive by email or mail candidacies. We received Mr. Marta Rezak's, but at the same time, we still have the process of opening the floor for nominations. Do I have a motion to open the floor for nominations? Thank you. Second? Those in favor? Those not in favor? Okay. Are there any nominations for supervisors besides Mrs. Marta Rezak, which sends hers? Not at this moment. So are you making a motion to close the nominations in the floor?
Yeah.
Second? Okay. Those in favor say yes, please. Yes. Those not in favor say no. Okay. Then the nomination of Mrs. Marta Rezak is accepted. Now, let's go for the vote. We have a motion to accept Marta's like supervisor of Las Villas. Do we have a motion for that? Yes? Second? All in favor, please say yes. Yes. Those not in favor say no. Okay. Welcome, Marta, to another year period. Welcome, Wells Fargo. Okay, now that we have elected Mrs. Marta Rizek in accordance with the rules and regulations, I will present the expenses of the 2017 budget and present the 2018 budget. I'm going to read from left to right. From left to right, first the budget of 2018, like it was stated last year, the projection year number of closing for this year, and the budget for 2019. We have been working very closely with the numbers. We start this process in July of each year, and we finish it by September, when we discuss it with the supervisors and we go line by line in detail of the whole budget. And then we send it to everybody in the homeowners association related with this, in this case, Lantana, through COM. Annual dues owners this year, this year is 147. The money allocated in 2019 was 814,496. The projection number that we are getting at the end of this year is 576,000. The budget for 2019 is 579,858. Estimated collections in 2018 was 88,000 in budget. The projection number we are estimating to finish with is $112,000. And for the budget of 2019, we are expecting to have 109,000. Resort fee, it was 45,000 in the budget. The projection is to have 45,000, and the budget for next year is 65,000. Expenses in administration, insurance, bank fees, license and plates of cars and trucks and everything, guest services cost, and the IVA, which is the tax what we pay ourselves. So the total amount in expenses in administrations is 136,425 in the budget of 2019. The projected number is 135,728, and for 2019 we are expecting to close at 149,244. Let's go a little bit lower, please. General maintenance. Salary, sewer stream and plant maintenance, material, utilities, and the tax. Total general maintenance for 2018 budget, 184,022. Expected, we are going to finish in 158,673. And for the next year is 176,459. Pool security, salaries, uniforms, and tax. In 2019, 24,800. Expected 26,669, and for 2019 26,163. For total pool 25,728. For estimated final number 27,597, and for 2019 27,091. Indirect cost. This is the contracts we have, like CAM and, for example, Baja Medical Center. 344,322 in contracts in 2019, plus the tax is a total of 378,911. Expected final number 385,122, and for 2019 376,047. Total expenses in 2019 budget 747,496. Expected final number 733,000, and for next year 753,858. A little bit lower, please. Note number 1: this budget represents no increase in dues. Details of this document can be found at eldoradohoa.com.mx. As you can see,
we tried to be as close as possible to last year, even with less people. What we are trying to do is we are trying to manage, as we have been doing, the most productive way to do and maintain what we have at the lowest cost as possible. As a matter of fact, there are some things that we are trying to do this year, like the infrared system, which is very important for the security. And there are challenges. What's new in life? That's why we are here. If we don't want challenges, I won't be sitting here. It's not easy, but we have to do it. We will work towards that. We will do the most we can. For example, we have a reserve into Las Vegas. Like Gary was saying, we have the option to use it for roof leaks or to fix the roofs, or we can hit the pool. Let me tell you a little bit of story. When I came in 5 years ago, I had 2.5 pages of roofs to fix. Right now, before Rosa, we have 4 roofs. Right now, we have 35 roofs to fix, so we added 31. But this was after Rosa, which puts more rain than we have had in 10 years. I was expecting it when I saw Rosa, yes. Before I saw Rosa in the weather, I didn't. But I can tell you this. 5 years ago, there were 2.5 pages. That's a lot more than 35. That's maybe 80. Right now, after Rosa, we have added only 31. And the question was raised in the developer meeting. Pat, I know by God that the roof leakings have not been fixed right. And you say, okay. I am going to put Montaño and Lupita and Ricardo and the owner who said that to go and check different condos. They were, they checked, and the report I have is everything is doing right. There are 2 little details that they told us you can better these ones, and we are okay. Besides that, 3 different persons, owners, came to Pat and said, you know, we are constructors, all of us. We would like to review what they have fixed, and we will back to you. Right now they are doing that. I only have one question. Why didn't it come to me before? I have said in the town halls many times, and I have said thank you to many people who has come to me and say, Roberto, we are not grading the roads in the right way. Say, can you tell us how we can do it? Yes, and I can give you where you go and see videos and you can train your people. We have done that and we have become a lot better. We have saved money, we have saved diesel, and we have trained our people better. So if anybody knows and can tell me how to do things better, I won't get mad. I will be appreciative and thankful. Because in the end, all of these do good to you and to me. And to all the person who is working hard to maintain it. So, and I am happy that they are going to check the roofs. I know that we have been doing it right. I am not a constructor. I am not a roofer. But I have been following my people. Maybe there is 3% mistakes, because nothing is perfect. But after these owners who are constructors come back, let me tell you something else. Well, finish my word. That they come back and if they say, it's okay, you have minor things, I'll be happy. When we were constructing the pickleball courts, and I'll say this openly, Pat came to me and said, are you sure you are going to do a good job? And I say, I think so, yes, Pat. And I'll tell you why. Because when we start reconstructing the tennis courts in the mountain side, we hired a professional contractor, a guy who has been living out of that forever. And he comes in and I say, my crew, you are going to be their shadows. I want to know, even when they go to the restroom, You have to see what product they are using, how they are applying it, how everything. And they did. As a matter of fact, in the beginning, this contractor didn't want to sell us the products because he said, you know, I am responsible of the use of this material. And if your people doesn't eat in the right way, I'm going to lose my business. So we say, okay, don't sell it to us. Or sell it to us, but come with my people and see that they are doing it right and applying it right. And he say, okay, that's a good deal. Anyway, you are going to be doing business and you will not be working. You will be earning money. So he said, okay, let's try that. He came in, he saw the work. Now we do all the courts. We do all the pickleball courts. And there was one person who Pat met, which is a lady who has been working in Arizona, reviewing more than 60 different tennis courts and pickleball courts in the government in Arizona. And Pat said to her, would you please check out the courts? And she came to me first and said, you know, Pat Butler told me to review your courts. I want you to know before I go. I said, well, thank you very much for telling me, but please do what you have to do. She went and she come back and she told me, you know, you are using the best product in the market in Mexico. And your workmanship of your guys is excellent. And that's what I am going to report to Pat Butler. But this time, and I agree with Pat, he has to do that. If something says, I think so, it's not well done, he can say, go and check. He cannot just wave it out and say, no, they are doing it right. And I won't do it that either. I say, welcome, check the work. I have invited since day one the supervisors here and ones that have left the supervisory committee. I have invited them to go with me and with Ricardo because we make a tour of the ranch each week in Saturday. Sometimes we skip it, but regularly we go to all the perimeters sometimes, and each week to EDR and La Ventana. And we go to the pools, we go to La Palapa, we go to La Palapa pool, we go to the restaurants, we go to the pickleball courts right now, and we check everything. And if you live there, one thing that you can notice, in the past, if you circle the pools, there was always small debris, like cans, cups, cigarette buttons everywhere. Now if you go, you will see the difference. And you know what I tell the people that works for us? You know, guys, this is a resort. This cannot be happening. And they clean it up. And we go each week, and they do it. Same thing in EDR side. But what I mean is, we have a budget and we have to live with it. But I want you to be certain that we do the best to keep the lowest cost with the best effectiveness. You are welcome to come with us any Saturday. It's a tour that lasts 2 hours. Winter or summer. Sometimes we are drenched and sometimes we are covered. But you are welcome, any one of you. Just be in the customer service office at 10 o'clock each Saturday, any Saturday, or let us know ahead of time, and we will take you out with us. And you will see how we do that. It's not something that we don't care. No, we are very into our work. And this is the budget we prepare. I can tell you that the supervisors, we go line by line, and this discussion that we are having, why don't you put this money here? Why don't you put that money there? Why don't we use here? We have all discussed about that for 5 months already. Because we are in November now, it just started in July. But yes, we are here to answer your questions. And all your doubts and questions are legitimate, because you have not been in our discussions. But I am trying to explain to you what we have done. And still, we have things to resolve. I say we have challenges. I don't think so we will lose too many people. Let me tell you why. When do we have the most people in the ranch? In summer. We have never hit the pool. I can tell you, do you know who used the most the pool at La Palapa? The Mexican families. Even if Cachanilla is, let's say, equipped and with heating and everything, as a mother and a father, do you would like to be carrying all the stuff a baby needs to the pool? That's a minority of the people. They would love to go to the closest pool, because what happened when you arrive there, we forgot the napkins, we forgot the food for the baby, and that means a big trip back and forth, back and forth. I was a father with children too, and I know, as you know. So they prefer to be in La Palapa because it's closer. And you can see the numbers, they are in the web. You can see the pool numbers. We have had in the pool of La Palapa, like, don't let my mind sleep on that, but at least 17,000 people this year, something like that. It's a huge number. So what that does mean, that people love it. And most of you, that was the first pool you know, and you still have it in your head, as Juanitos. Everybody loves Juanitos. Why? Because it was the first one that catch you when you come in. So the idea is like that. We have challenges, yes. We have prepared a good budget, I think so, yes. We have to get the money to hit the pool. We will do it on time. I hope so this year we can do that. If not, we will try to do it next year. And we have been working by steps. I can use an example, for you to see a big difference. Here are some of the supervisors of video. When I came in, we have a fleet of Volkswagens for security. In 5 years, we already have only Tacomas and Rivers. And right now we have a fleet of 28 vehicles out of 14 that we had before. It was not easy. We were changing them. And let me tell you something. When we got right of the Volkswagens, when we were to sell them, they say to us, I'll give you 3,000 pesos. And I say, between the battery and the transmission, I get more. So I say, we will not be selling them, we keep them. As one battery goes up, we will change it as the tires and the transmission and the more. So finally we get rid of them, and when we sold them, we get money from them like a carcass. But we obtain a lot more money just changing the parts. But the thing is like that. Let's keep working. The idea that I want just to transmit to you is that we are working hard for that. And we will look to ways to accommodate the heating of the pool as soon as possible. I can tell you that. So right now, after I say all of this, do we have a motion to approve the... Yes, sir? Okay, thank you. Second? All in favor? Those not in favor? No. One. Okay, so the motion passed. Thank you very much. Okay, this concludes the business or the ordinary assembly. Is there a motion to close the meeting? Okay, second. All in favor? Those not in favor? Okay, now I open the floor for questions and answers. Please go ahead. Please go to the front. State your name and last name and your logo.
Alice Young from Condo 103. You just mentioned that you have some good answer for us that for the house being more secure.
Yes. Let me tell you why I say that. Many of you rent houses through property management companies. And sometimes you change from one property company, from one property management company to the other. Did you change your locks after that? Okay. What happened? We are called when somebody is stolen. When we are right there and we call the police, those are records from the police that say, not a door was violated, not a window was broken. So, how they come in, because they have a key. And the only people who has the key is, sometimes there is somebody in charge of the house, sometimes it's just the property manager, as you say, you only use one. But there are condos that have changed one and after. And when we go, we have found some properties that were broken in. The lock was damaged, things like that. But in 95% of the cases, they were not damaged. And I can tell you, there is one property management that we told him, you know, your guys are stealing and we have the proof. And we say, it's your employee. We suggest you to put him in jail. He didn't do it. He just fired 3 employees. It was his decision. The other thing is, when something like this happens, we make a report, always, and the police is called, and the police coincides with us. This should be somebody who has access to the condo. We don't have cameras in all La Ventana, Las Villas or La Ventana. There has not been money for that. We are starting with the infrared this year, and we will go ahead after that, because we still have to close all the La Ventana. And then we will go by the cameras. It depends on how much money we have. Like it or not, that's the way we have to work. Yes, sir.
The condo is on the beach that had the fire damage. What's going on with that?
Okay. Well, which is your unit?
684, so it's right in front.
Okay. I received today, usually it's like that, the day before or today, but I have it here in my cell phone. I received today that the insurance company in Mexico has approved it. So we will be receiving the check in 8 to 10 days, and we'll start working. So that's a good news. That's a good news. And I can tell you that since I come here, we have had 4 fires, and this has been the same nightmare each time. Yes, Martha?
Thank you, Roberto. I just wanted to thank everybody for the confidence to elect me for another 2-year term as your supervisor. I don't want to take up everybody's time by going into a lot of my background, but I will stay after the meeting if anyone is interested in talking with me or meeting me, or if you have questions, want to know more about me, I'll stick around. Thank you.
I want to apologize to Martha because I didn't let her introduce herself and say what she said right now. I jumped out. If you are in the supervisor's meeting, I tend to do that in any minute. I jump some point, but usually they make me get back. Yes, sir.
Carl Passer. Question. Yes. The fires is usually problem of the gas lines, right?
Yes.
The barbecues and the gas line. Is there any way that we can have whoever would do those sort of things on an annually basis, check out all the gas lines?
Yes, that's a responsibility of the owner. The property management company should do it because it's part of their deal. And what we suggested many times is to move the grills out of the walls. As a matter of fact, there have been owners that are doing that. I think so that's a very smart move. And because the problem is that the people who come and are not used to gas grills, they put carbon, they put charcoal, and they light it up, and they put a ton of charcoal. And so that's what is very dangerous. Sometimes, in the last one, the heat was so strong that the hose get melted. So the gas escape, and it makes like a torch.
I was just wondering if there's a similar problem with the fireplaces inside.
I don't think so, because the people doesn't put charcoal in them. So this is just lighting it up. For sure, if it is a rental property, we suggest that the property management goes and teach them how to use it, because sometimes it's not easy to light up the chimneys.
Yes, understood. The problem is if we leave it to the individual owners, and some owners don't do it, and then everybody else is affected because the units are connected.
I think so. We will discuss that in the supervisor committee, and we will find a way to invite the owners to do that.
It's got copper piping for here. For the fireplaces, it's copper piping.
Would you please come, Michael?
For the fireplaces, it's a copper pipe is installed in the building.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Thank you for that commentary, Mike. Yes, ma'am.
These few days we keep hearing from the pet, and he said there's some money will come in within 30 days. What kind of money is that?
No, I didn't say 30 days. I say it can come tomorrow, 30 days, 3 months. That's the investment money from that Pat Bolter is looking for.
Oh, that's a trade, right?
That's an investment he's looking for.
Oh, okay.
If he gets that money, he will invest in marketing, he will invest in many other things. So the value of the property will rise, and many owners who are not paying money now, they will pay more. They will start paying. That's my idea.
But he said he wanted to get done within 30 days before new president come into the office.
Yes, he said that.
Oh, that's good for this money.
Oh, he said it's from a fund that he is working with. The company he is working with is called Drink. Yeah. Yeah, it's an investment fund. I don't know all the details because that's a developer side, but yes, that's what he said. Is there no more questions? Yes, please.
Last year they fixed almost all the bedrooms and bathrooms had leaks, and I think they finally fixed them. Now we came 3 days ago, we noticed that it might be from receipt from Rosa's typhoon or storm, but another bathroom has very bad leak again. And also, 2 years ago, we had that plumbing problem in the garage. Now it's there again. So and they just replaced part of it that was leaking before. I think it's the same problem as leaking again.
Okay, the piping, it's another deal that we don't do. That's the developer is right now in legal action against the piping company, and he is claiming at the developer's opinion that they are going to go to a trial or trying to make amends with the company who fabricates or makes the piping. About the roofs, when we go there, we fix the area that is reported. We don't take out the whole roof because we don't have money for that.
But yeah, we're not expecting you guys to replace the whole thing, but at least if you request it, you get some should,
Okay, let's say that Ricardo over there in the bank, the guy with his hand, raising his hand, you can talk with him and he will go with you to see the condo itself and see the problems and we can fix it.
But see, the problem is we don't live here every day. We only come here once in a while because we are working in the United States. We can be coming here and,
Do you have a friend here who takes care of your condo? Nothing.
It takes 12, 13 hours to travel here and we are working and we cannot just come and oversee everybody to come and fix it.
No, we understand that.
Yeah.
It's the thing is that we need to see from the inside to the condo because we have to see where the leaks are and all that, and we check the roof and we fix it.
We can see the roof now. There are even 3 stack of. I think what I get information from this is that somebody probably wanted to repair at that time or planning to repair, but then they must have forgotten or something, or they just left and they didn't go back and fix put the style back.
Okay, we will check. We have to check that because we have a log with all the roofs that we can fix and when we can fix them. So we have to check if it is the same spot or it's a different spot. So, because it can be a different spot. So when we have, like I say, we fixed like 2.5 pages of roofs, and right now we have less than one with Rosa. So that means that a lot of the work was right. So we have to check if it is the same place or it's a different one.
But originally, who did all this roofing thing? Because it seems like all the cantos have brown bubble leaks.
Well, I don't know, I wasn't here at that time.
Did they go back to the original contractor who did all the work?
No, because there was a guarantee on that, and the guarantee has expired already. But we can fix the roof. Like I said before, there is a committee right now going and checking. Well, not a committee, a group of instructors checking that. Yes, sir.
I only have one question. Does the HOA have a quality control department so that when the contractor says they finish their job, that the HOA go back and check if they actually did the job?
We don't have a quality control department because we don't have money for that. That's the real thing. But we have experienced people doing the work. And like I say, two architects were yesterday to check the roofs that we have done lately. They say they were well done. But besides that, the contractors who are owners at the ranch offer to go and check them too. So they will say the last word about it. And if they say, no, it's not right, then I expect them to tell me, this is the way you have to do it. If they say it is right, okay, I will be pleased.
The problem was, I came here last year to observe the workers, and half of the time they were just sitting down waiting for the supervisor or waiting for the equipment to arrive, the material to arrive. And I was worried that it would take them like a week to complete the job, but after a week they haven't completed the job, so I had to go back home to work. Okay, so when we came back this year, part of the roof, okay, the materials were missing or the tiles were cracked, so they didn't complete the job. So that's the reason why I asked if there's a quality control department here.
Not really, but we will check into that. Right now that these constructor owners are helping us, we will have an authorized person besides us saying if it is right or not. That will be like a quality control opinion. Okay. Okay, so if there are no more questions, I want to thank you all for being here. Oh, one more. Yes, sir.
A letter from Mr. Eric Ramirez, dated September 6, 2018. Okay, Article 5. The Cachnia pool was built by with HOA firms for both the Mountainside and La Ventana owners. The pool was intended for both El Dorado and La Ventana owners. If there to be any access to change, both supervisors from El Dorado and La Ventana should vote on this pool, as this pool is intended for use by the entire community. One time it seemed it was stated that the pool was actually built by the Mountainside owners. This seems to be a contradiction. I approached one of the staff people about that, and he said that Mr. Ramirez was lying. I think that's a very serious charge to make.
Well, first of all, you came to me, and I told you that was not true, and it's not true. The seaside never contributed one penny to the construction of that pool. So if you say something that is not true, it's not true. And I told you too that I sent a letter from the HOA, an official letter to Mr. Ramirez saying you are misleading your owners who are renting the units with you, and you are not an authorized people to give opinions about the work of the HOA because you don't know the financials of the HOA. And I told you that, and it's not a false statement from my part. I have the letter in my office, which I sent to him, because he was misleading the people.
Okay, what was his reason for doing that then?
You can ask him.
Where do I find him?
With him.
Okay, is he working here or something?
Okay, if you rent through him, you have to have access to him. I don't work with him.
Well, I'd like to know, is he connected with the El Dorado Ranch?
No, he is a personal business. He works with a company which is called My San Felipe Vacation. And then in the paper you receive, he should have his telephone or his email. You can contact him through that. Yes, because he is not part of the HOA. He works inside the ranch. And he asked him for the letter. He has it. All right. Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to ask about the dryer vents and what maintenance or checks. I know there was a fire years ago, I think, that originated there, and they found that one of them maybe was vented into the wall. Maybe that was a mistake, but anyway, I just wanted to know if we should be doing some maintenance or checks on them, or if you know where they are supposed to vent, and if you can check that.
The main things with grills, you have to check the hoses that go from the gas tank to the grill, because in this heat and cold they burn out and they get dry and they crack. So it's very advisable that at least each year you change them and to make the proper things with the connections you will need. Yes, yes, we recommend that.
So the hose itself?
Yes, you can ask a plumber and they will do the thing. Or you can go with Mi Casita and they will do it for you.
And the vent too, just check and make sure it's vented properly.
I didn't hear you say.
To make sure it's vented properly and...
Yes, they know all about that, yeah. Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, if there's no more questions, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you very much.
Supposed to